What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today is February the 16th. I'm going to give you a pre-market update, go over some of the data points and everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So starting off, you do have some good old data points that just came out, more specifically PPI. It was higher than anticipated, both on a year-over-year and a month-over-month. Prior to the data just coming out like a couple of minutes ago, futures were looking very green, and now they have really diminished quite significantly. So I don't know how today will really turn out. It'll be dependent on a lot of the technicals. Each and individual owns stock, so I'm going to go over some of the hot movers. Right now, the fear and greed index is still at 77, so you will see the market naturally trying to propel a lot of kind of spec stocks higher, but still, regardless, let's get right to it. SOFI is currently up 0.82% pre-market. No actual news, no SEC filings. Shorts right now are returning about 14,000 shares. 16.65% of the free float is being shorted, and 151.85 million shares overall are being shorted. And based on the, PPI that recently came out, now it is down, 1.64%. So Seeking Alpha hasn't really updated yet. But if you are looking at trading this, really watch these support and resistance points. It has been the technicals that's been one of the biggest driving factors for SOFI. So with it at 839, it is between this R1 and this R2. So 853 is going to be the next strong resistance. Vice versa, $8.32 is going to be the next strong support. And even this sell-off that happened this morning, it kind of bounced off that R1. So we do know that's a very strong support. So overall, that's kind of a good thing. I did do a video yesterday. There is a very strong wall at 850. So most likely market makers won't want it to break that, but we'll just have to wait and see. Moving on, SoundHound. So this one's been gaining a lot of popularity, and this because of Nvidia recently increasing their stake. So that's what caused it to go up 66.74%. Right now it is down 3.99%. This is what they are all about right here. So you can always pause it, read through it. This company is somewhat heavily shorted, and so far shorts are increasing about 44 or almost 45,000 shares right over here. But 11.59% of the free float is being shorted. 24.4 million shares overall are being shorted, and cost of borrow average is 25.39%. And through Interactive Broker short availability does indicate around 150,000 shares is available to be shorted. So they are kind of running out of ammunition somewhat, so take that with a grain of salt. If you are looking at trading SoundHound right now with it at $3.53, it is between this pivot and this R1. So as I've brought up yesterday, the fib levels are very wide, so that means a lot of volatility. But $2.73 is going to be that next strong line in the sand, very strong support. And then vice versa, $4.31 is going to be that next strong resistance. Didn't really touch that, I believe, yesterday the high was 406, so it's just going to be range bound here. But potentially a lot of analysts might be coming out today saying maybe the PPI is an overreaction, this sell-off, similar to what happened with the CPI data. So we'll just have to sit tight and wait. Moving on, so Coinbase had absolutely phenomenal earnings, and so I do follow Brad Freeman on Twitter. Definitely highly suggest a lot of you doing so, and I don't think I've ever seen obliterated ever used in any of his analysis or snapshots. So Coinbase, technically based on their earnings per share, was profitable last quarter. Absolutely crazy. So it is up 13.36% pre-market. Very much justified in my own opinion. And if you don't know what Coinbase does, this is what they are all about, as you can kind of see. But aside from that though, Coinbase is somewhat heavily shorted. Take that with a grain of salt, but they are returning 81,000 shares, obviously validating the actual earnings. 10.02% of the free float is being shorted. 18.98 million shares overall are being shorted. And through Interactive Broker short availability does indicate around 4.1 million shares available to be shorted. So there's quite a lot of ammunition. So the fact that shorts are returning is generally a good thing. I don't know if once the market does open, happen if they cause it to go down as a result of the recent data. We'll just have to once again wait and see. Moving on, Lucid. So I do cover Lucid quite frequently under my other channel, and so right now, or I guess yesterday, it was up 5.2%. This is what they are all about, in case you do not know what Lucid is or what they do. And right now, shorts are increasing about 120,000 shares of it. 29.88% of the free float is being shorted, and that works out to be 264.53 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 39.56. Utilization is at 100%, and right now there's about 70,000 shares available. If you're looking at trading Lucid though, with it at $3.61, it is trading between this pivot and this R1, so you'll have to watch for it to kind of stay above this 364. If not, then it is just going to trace down. Similarly, there is quite a lot of options, call options in the money at 350, so you will see market makers trying to suppress Lucid as well and maybe cause an overreaction today. And final stock I do want to talk on is this. So ticker is LUNR, Intuitive Machines. It is up 18.06%. It was up 34.54% yesterday. Fairly good news. So ultimately, this is what they do. But the news that did cause it to go up yesterday was this. So Intuitive Machines rocket 40% after lunar lander successfully en route to the moon. So once again, this is a fairly good thing. So today is just more of a byproduct of yesterday, just piggybacking off that positive momentum. There hasn't been anything coming out today. As you can kind of see, the news was yesterday, no SEC filings as right here. So once again, this is definitely a fairly good thing. Is it a reason to buy? I don't know. I'm not really sure about that. Lunar, I have actually talked on them in my top 5 squeeze stocks, and because in the past, not recently, but in the past, the short score was relatively high. So as it stands, 81.92% is that short score. Utilization is 98.12%. Shorts are increasing, small amount, but 931 shares, and that is it. 12.25% of the free float is being shorted, and 1.81 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 128.24%. So no doubtably, you can tell why this has been heavily shorted, or I guess why the short score is relatively high, because it has a high utilization, a lot of shares being shorted, and it does have a relatively high cost to borrow. So this does meet all the criteria for a squeeze play. Aside from that though, if you're looking at trading this, it is above, as it stands, all the fib levels. So right now it is considered overbought. So because of the recent data that coming out today, it might actually cause it to pull back. So as it stands, a very strong support that we do know is $5.68. Aside from that, if we kind of zoom out, like, it's all extremely high, because when it comes down to them, they have gone down quite a lot. They haven't done any reverse stock splits, and so once again, as I've said, definitely take advantage of my 7-day free trial with Seeking Alpha. Link is in the description below and also the comments, in case you are ever curious about anything on a company, whether if they've done reverse stock splits, earnings, it goes over everything. So this has a lot of information, definitely can better your investing. So technically, when it comes to Lunar, I would say be cautious, because this news right here that did come out, like, it's good, it definitely does show and gets its name out there, but there's no real specifics laid out. And then as well, you have to factor in that the fear and greed index, like I mentioned, is relatively high. So the market is wanting to naturally propel a lot of stocks higher, sometimes unjustifiably, like I kind of mentioned yesterday with ticker RXRX, as well as SoundHound. SoundHound, like, is it justified to go up 66% yesterday? Probably not. So definitely take all of this with a grain of salt, because the market is in full greed mode right now. So you always have to be very cautious. My own opinion, of course, not a financial advisor. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And one final thing, take advantage of this promo. Link is in the description below and also the comments. Simply sign up for an account with MULN MULN, throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So take advantage of this while you can. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.